New segment alert. Two segment alert, meaning this is Fanecdotes episode 8 from Kobe Bryant, but we got a new segment alert. This is called Debunking the Narrative. Now we know about ESPN creating a narrative and running with it behind data and facts to support it, but they sway the narrative to where the fans essentially be having the same outlook and the same narrative as to how things went down, but that's not the case. We all don't feel and think the same about what happened. Today's episode on Fanecdotes and Debunk the Narrative is Kobe carried Shaq. And this is going to be a two-part edition. I got back-to-back games for you. This first game is Game 4 versus the Kings. Kobe Bryant, 48 points, going for the sweep. Let's get to the film. Fanecdotes episode 8, mixed with Debunk the Narrative. I'm going to do both at a time. Now, 2001, 2002, this is the back-to-back season. This is Kobe becoming Kobe Bryant in his purest form. Now, we know the narrative. Kobe carried Shaq for those 3 rings. Now, we must discern the facts that base this narrative. Shaq and Kobe got their first ring at the same time. So Kobe can claim his presence just as effective, at least for Shaq's first ring, as Shaq can for his. Had not been for Kobe, one could argue Shaq wouldn't have got his first ring when he got it, hadn't Kobe elevated his game. Now, in regards to the narrative, I do believe the first ring against Indiana, I want to say. I think the second was Philly. The first was Indiana, and that playoffs in that year, I saw Shaq as the number 1 option and Kobe as a great number 2 option. In the playoffs, you saw 30 points per from Shaq, 15 rebounds, pure dominance. Oh my God. While you saw Kobe, 21 points, 5 assists. So you see a sidekick in the first year. This year, however, the second year, you start questioning who's the best player on the team. Another fun fact for you, Shaq was quoted saying Kobe Bryant is my idol during this run. Another fun fact for you was the Lakers didn't lose in the West. They swept through the West, and it wasn't until Allen Iverson got stepped over Tyronn Lue to beat us that one game in which they lost. But this was almost a flawless playoffs. And why, in my opinion? Because we had 2 of the best players, and they were, I didn't know who was better. Personally, I prefer Kobe because basketball skill, he's a more well-rounded player, and Shaq's game is more predicated on athletic dominance. But when you talk about effectiveness, Shaq in this year, the back-to-back year, averaged 30.4, 15 rebounds again, and 3 assists. While Kobe averaged 29.4, which is 1 point below. So they averaged 1 point away from each other. 30 and 29.4, 30.4. So 30 and 30 a game this playoffs for both of them. Makes you question that narrative of Kobe being carried. And I specify this game because this was his career high, and then we're going to do back-to-back today. I'm feeling froggy. Back-to-back. This is Game 4. What you going to get immediately following this is Game 1 versus the Spurs, because they was on such a tear and Kobe was in such a go mode. You're going to see back-to-back performances that look unbelievable. And then, of course, you know, I want y'all to hear Doug Collins on the announcing. And granted, he amazes announcers. I still don't see that as often. I do see the narrative, oh, he's the best, or he's this, or he's that. But I don't see that feeling of being wild consistently. When we saw this man, it was different. And you're going to see him turn it up to where Doug Collins or where Kobe's performing. And you're going to hear how they speak of Kobe and his play of recently. You see Kobe, y'all watching the Jordan tapes right now. If you know Kobe, come on, he monikered Jordan. It's familiar. I always point to that killer. That I have to choose the killer. You feel me? Because I can't bet on the killer. Mm.
And Shaq loves it, but the thing I have a problem with that is Kobe, you know, is going to try to break your defense down. Why don't you double him and force him to pass him? He comes all the way from the half.
Blow by Doug Christie. Solid defender. And one. Vlade Divac. Traded Kobe for Vlade. 8 for 12. 19 points. New segment, Debunk the Narrative. They told us for too long that Kobe carried Shaq. I'm providing the evidence. Smoke the layup. But yeah, we just on Fanecdotes episode 8 as well as Debunk the Narrative. The narrative is Kobe carries Shaq. You got a lot of people saying this, so like, share this video if you were a witness to the Fanecdotes of Kobe in these years, these back-to-back years of Kobe and Shaq. Carried? When you say carried, it implies somebody didn't hold their own. So let's talk about the narrative. Carried him? I can hold my motherfucking own. Now, Mark Madsen, Kobe and Shaq carried that nigga. In my opinion, if you want to talk about the narrative. But for them to thrust that Shaq carried Kobe and to try to hold that against him in his career, of course, that's what drove him even harder to get that 4th ring on his own. But the narrative itself should be something of question. I'm not even saying Kobe was better than Shaq. But he got carried? You see the Kobe that they got to deal with. And then on the Fanecdotes spectrum, this was the game. This was, to me, I think the game before this, he had like 36 against the King. He was wiping niggas out this series. Shaq and Kobe was just 1A, 1B. Pick who you want 1A, 1B at this time. But this game was the 48 points, and it just showed to me the level in which Kobe was on. After that first ring, it was like, okay, there's no turning back. I'm trying to get, I want it all. And you just saw the clear distinction. He was just way better than niggas. The only player I could compare him to in this era, as far as better, would be Shaq. Iverson, I love Iverson, but he was too small. And T-Mac on the skill level. T-Mac was just as skilled as this guy and taller, but the relentlessness, you saw persevere with Kobe in my opinion. I don't think T-Mac had this innateness. And then Shaq has that force, but on a skill level, on a well-roundedness level. I think this back-to-back year was the first year I felt, hey, I think the best player in the league is Kobe Bryant, even though he got Shaq. I understand the argument, but nigga, this is the best player I'm watching, arguably. Is he being carried? Wilt Chamberlain carried niggas. A nigga dropping 48 ain't getting carried. He just came from his playoff career high 2 nights ago with 36, I think. So now he's finna surpass it. And we doing back-to-back. So back-to-back games, he surpassed his career high. Meaning he's playing at the highest level of his life. Signifying. It doesn't mean it, but that's what it signifies to me. And when I watched it, you just see mid-range check. Defense check. Attack the basket check. Left hand, right hand, check. Post game, check. Jump shot, check. This Kobe start checking all boxes. Poise, check. Pass, facilitate when it's time, check. Know-how of the game, check. Dusty fro, check. Boards, check. Assists, check. My best players check all boxes, man. That's why I always propel MJ and Mamba, because I don't got boxes that they don't check. Come on, face up, jab. And why? Oh, y'all remember this? Uh-oh.
The image you shot there to me was a shot on the bench. The
Listen
smiles on the face of the teammates as Kobe makes that shot. It's a chance for a three-point play, but early in the year, I'm not so sure we should have seen those smiles or would have seen those smiles. They now are loving the way Kobe is playing. We have seen.
Doug Collins says you wouldn't have seen those smiles on the sideline because they didn't really like Kobe. His teammates like that. He was kind of a hard player to play with, and he was self-confident so much that it didn't look as a team player. But they're smiling, cheering for him now, so he has a different continuity with his team. So he's reached that level of maturation to being accepted by his teammates. Just a whole different Kobe this year, and this Kobe, for anybody to say got carried, it's laughable to me. A bad narrative. 2-point game. Close them. They changed the language to Spanish, but you spin the double. Clutch bucket. That's what they don't say when they say Shaq carried Kobe. Kobe was the clutch player throughout all 3 rings. We giving the ball to Kobe. Does the closer get carried? Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, arguably the best center ever. Arguably the best player in this time. But to say you carry Kobe? Come on, he don't believe that. I don't believe it. That's why we on Debunk the Narrative. It's your boy Dane. Let me know your thoughts, your comments. Fanecdotes episode 8. The sweep right here. This was one of the best Laker years ever. Almost completed the sweep. If Iverson didn't step over Tyronn Lue, we might have seen a flawless playoffs, but nonetheless, one of the greatest runs ever. Kobe 48. And we coming right back after this video. So part 2, Fanecdotes episode 9, and Debunk the Narrative of Shaq carried Kobe continues. It's your boy Dane.